You'll never amount to anything, Chase. You're throwing your life away, Dad sneered, his scotch sloshing as he jabbed a finger at my Stanford dropout papers. No son of mine is going to be a broke, homeless bum. It's back to school or you're cut off for good, you hear? I clenched my jaw, shoving clothes into a ratty duffel. 13 years of straight A's, of NHS and debate club and varsity lacrosse, and still, nothing I did was ever good enough. Well, this bum was about to take his $1 million idea and shove it up dear old Dad's trust fund. My phone buzzed on the bed, flashing an unknown number. I almost let it go to voicemail, finger hovering over the red dismiss button. But something made me pause. A tingle of premonition, a whisper from the universe. What did I have to lose? I swiped to answer, lifting it to my ear. Chase Holloway, tech visionary and future billionaire speaking. How may I blow your mind today? Chase? This is Henrik Dahl. I'm calling about the prototype you demoed at Y Combinator last week. How soon can you be in San Francisco? Sequoia wants to make you an offer. 3 years later, I stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of Sortech HQ, an army of employees coding feverishly below, a view of the sun-drenched valley stretching to the horizon. I took a slow sip of green juice, savoring the hints of kale and hubris. To think, this all started with an idea scrawled on a napkin in a grungy dorm room, a kernel of code tapped out on a battered laptop while my business major roommate snored in his twin XL. The algorithm that would disrupt the travel industry, bypass the gatekeepers, put the power of flight in the hands of the people. Or at least, in the smartphones of the upwardly mobile millennial set. A polite cough from my assistant broke my reverie. I turned, arching a brow in question. The Journal is here for your cover interview, sir, she chirped, iPad at the ready. And your father is holding on line 1. Again. I smirked, straightening my collar, smoothing back an artfully tousled lock of hair. Tell the Journal I'll be right down. And email dear old Dad a link to this month's Forbes 30 under 30. That should shut him up for a while, my assistant nodded, fingers flying as she relayed the messages. I turned back to the window, the tingling sense of destiny spreading through my limbs. They doubted me, the blue bloods back east, with their legacy admissions and pedigree degrees. Even Dad, the great Cyrus Holloway himself, had written me off as a lost cause, a prodigal son who'd never live up to the family name. But I'd shown them. I'd taken my Stanford dropout status and spun it into solid fucking gold, into a unicorn the valley was already calling the next Facebook, the next Airbnb. All it took was a dream, an obscene amount of Soylent, and the balls to flip a multi-billion-dollar industry the bird. Your father says he doesn't care about Forbes, my assistant piped up, looking harried. And that he'll, kick your scrawny ass from here to Palo Alto if you don't pick up. My lip curled. 3 years of radio silence, of terse, congrats, texts when the Series B closed, when the acquisition offers started rolling in. And now Daddy Dearest wanted to chat? Now that the Holloway runt was making headlines, was the toast of the tech scene? Tough shit. The Bank of Dad was officially closed for business. It was time for Cyrus Reginald Holloway III to reap what he'd sown. Or rather, what he hadn't bothered to nurture. I made a slashing motion across my throat, a clear, cut the call. Let the old bastard rage into the void for once. I had a world to change, an empire to build. No time for sentimental father-son chats, for awkward olive branches extended too little, too late. Mr. Holloway. A deferential knock on the glass, a honey-smooth voice that set my teeth on edge. I turned to see my chief investor, a silver fox in bespoke brioni, a wolf smile on his patrician face. A word before the vultures descend? I stifled a sigh. Alastair Crestwell IV, Managing Director of Sequoia Capital's flagship fund, the kingmaker of Sand Hill Road. The man who'd written Sorteca's first check, who'd been singing my praises to the press since our app broke 1 million downloads. And who never let me forget it. Alastair, I greeted, a brittle smile pasted on. What can I do for you? The Journal's waiting. Oh, I won't keep you long. He waved a manicured hand. I just wanted to say, congrats, my boy. Knew you had it in you. The moment I saw that demo, I said to myself, Al, this kid's going to make you a very rich man someday. His eyes gleamed with paternal pride, as if he had anything to do with my success beyond tossing a little seed money my way. As if he hadn't been the first to suggest a more experienced CEO when the growing pains hit, when the bad press started piling up. Couldn't have done it without you, I gritted out. Your support means the world. We're going to do great things together, Chase. He clapped me on the shoulder, expensive watch glinting. Just don't forget who got you here. Sequoia always backs its winners. And you, my boy, are shaping up to be our triple crown. With a final wink, he strode out, designer loafers soundless on the polished concrete. I exhaled through my teeth, willing my pulse to slow. Ungrateful, a voice hissed in my head. The spitting image of Cyrus Sr. I shook it off, squaring my shoulders, slipping on the mask of unflappable confidence that had become my signature look. I'd show him. I'd show them all. Chase Holloway was no one's show pony, no one's charity case. I was a fucking unstoppable force, a rocket ship headed for the stars. And I was just getting started. 45 minutes later, I was deep in the weeds of the journal interview, pontificating on everything from the sharing economy to the pitfalls of an open office floor plan. The reporter, a serious-looking woman in chunky jewelry, nodded along, pen flying across her steno pad. "And what about the competition?" she asked, eyes flicking up to mine. "Rumor has it Skylark is launching a similar feature next quarter. How do you plan to stay ahead?" I flashed a wolfish grin, channeling my inner Steve Jobs. "The same way we always have. By innovating faster, dreaming bigger, and never settling for second best. Skylark can chase our taillights all they want. We'll be too busy redefining the future of travel to notice." She hummed, scribbling madly. Bold words. But what about the rumblings of trouble in paradise? The employee protests, the user privacy concerns? Some are saying Sortech is growing too fast for its own good. My grin slipped a fraction before I hitched it back up, injecting a dose of Ashok's charm. Growing pains are a natural part of any startup's journey. But we're committed to scaling responsibly, to putting our users and our team first. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was the next great tech powerhouse. Speaking of empire building, she segued, "Let's talk about your background. Word is, you're the black sheep of quite the blue-blooded clan back east. The prodigal son who struck out for Silicon Valley to make a name for himself. Care to comment?" I stiffened, the words like a bucketful of ice water down my spine. How the fuck did she know about my family? I'd been fastidiously tight-lipped on the subject, had bribed and threatened Chase 1.0's dorm mates into silence. As far as the tech press was concerned, I'd sprung fully formed from the skull of Peter Thiel, a hoodie-clad Athena for the startup set. "No comment," I bit out, a muscle ticking in my jaw. "My past is just that. The only thing that matters is the future we're building here at Sortech." Next question. The reporter's eyes gleamed, sensing blood in the water. She leaned forward, lips curling into a smirk. "Come on, Chase. Inquiring minds want to know. What's it like to be the underdog in a dynasty of Ivy League blue bloods? To strike out on your own, armed with nothing but a laptop and a dream? Our readers eat that shit up." Anger surged through my veins, white-hot and blinding. I opened my mouth, a caustic retort on the tip of my tongue, and was interrupted by the ding of the elevator, the clack of expensive shoes on marble. I glanced up to see a ghost striding across the lobby, flanked by a pair of grim-faced attorneys. Cyrus fucking Holloway in the flesh, his bespoke suit and salt and pepper hair straight out of a Ralph Lauren ad. The last man I ever expected to darken Sortecha's door. "What the hell are you doing here?" I snarled, rocketing to my feet. The reporter's eyes bugged out of her skull, sensing the scoop of a lifetime unfolding before her. "Is that any way to greet your father, Chase?" Cyrus sked, stopping a few feet away. His eyes were chips of flint, his mouth pressed into a thin, unforgiving line. "I thought your mother and I taught you better manners than that." "You taught me jack shit," I spat. "Except maybe how to drink my way through the Fortune 500. What do you want, Dad? I'm kind of in the middle of something here." I jerked my chin at the reporter, who looked like she'd just won the Pulitzer. Cyrus spared her a dismissive glance before turning the full force of his stare back on me. "This will only take a moment. I'm here on behalf of the board of Holloway Enterprises. It has come to our attention that you've been using Sortech resources to develop some rather concerning technology. Technology that could pose a serious threat to our business interests." My blood ran cold. He couldn't mean. But how did he know? I'd buried that project deep, had sworn my top engineers to secrecy on pain of blacklisting. "I don't know what you're talking about," I blustered, crossing my arms. "Sortech is in the business of booking flights, not corporate espionage. You're barking up the wrong startup." Cyrus smiled, razor thin. "Don't play dumb, Chase. It doesn't suit you. Did you really think you could poach top talent from our aerospace division without raising a few eyebrows? That you could develop a prototype for the world's first fully autonomous passenger drone right under our noses? Fuck." The reporter's hand was a blur, her eyes wide with shock and glee. I could see the headlines now. Sortech CEO's secret project revealed. Rogue son out to disrupt the family business. I swallowed hard, mind racing. I had to salvage this, had to spin it somehow. But first, I had to get dear old Dad the hell out of my building. "This meeting is over," I gritted out, signaling to security. "I don't know what kind of corporate spy bullshit you're trying to pull, but you've picked the wrong pony to back. Sortech is my company. I built it from the ground up while you were busy getting sauced at the country club. And I'll be damned if I let you waltz in here and start making wild accusations in front of the press." Cyrus's eyes narrowed to slits. "Accusation? No, my boy. I'm here to make you an offer. Sell us the drone prototype and all associated IP. Dissolve this little science experiment you call a startup. Come back to Holloway Enterprises and take your rightful place at my side. I'll even let you keep the Palo Alto Pide Terra. Red tinged the edges of my vision. I curled my hands into fists, nails biting into my palms. You've got to be fucking kidding me. You kick me out, cut me off, tell anyone who'll listen that I'm a worthless burnout who'll never amount to anything. And now that I've built a unicorn from the ground up, you want me to hand it over and come crawling back like a good little soldier? Not fucking likely. Cyrus's face hardened, granite and ice. Don't be stupid, Chase. You're meddling in forces you can't begin to comprehend. This drone nonsense will only end in tears, mark my words. You're not ready to swim with the sharks in the deep end of the pool. Good thing I'm not swimming. I'm fucking flying. I straightened my spine, looked him dead in the eye. I am Chase Holloway, founder and CEO of Soar Tech, the fastest growing travel tech startup in the valley. I'm a visionary, a disruptor, a force of fucking nature. And if you think you can bully me into giving up everything I've built just to stroke your ego, you've got another thing coming. I stepped forward, right up in his face, the camera's forgotten. You may have given me life, old man. But you're not my fucking daddy anymore. I've outgrown you and everything you stand for. So take your fancy suit and your empty threats and get the hell out of my building. I've got a world to change. Dead silence. You could hear a pin drop, the proverbial record scratch. Every eye in the room was glued to us, the Holloway lions squaring off for dominance. Then, slowly, Cyrus smiled. A real smile this time, genuine amusement crinkling the corners of his eyes. That's my boy, he murmured. I knew that fire was still burning under that California cool. He stuck out a hand, Rolex glinting. Keep the drone. Keep the company. Hell, keep disrupting the old guard till kingdom come. Just remember where you came from, son. Holloways are made of steel and spite. Don't let this town dull your edge. I stared at his hand, jaw clenched. A peace offering, or a Trojan horse? With Cyrus Holloway, you could never be sure. But as I looked into his eyes, so like my own, I saw a flicker of something I'd never seen before. Pride, maybe. Respect. Against my better judgment, I reached out and clasped his hand, squeezing hard enough to grind bone. I'm not your soldier, and I'm sure as hell not your pawn. But, I exhaled through my teeth. You're my father. And even if I can't stand the sight of you most days, I guess that still counts for something. Just don't expect me to come home for Christmas. Cyrus barked a laugh, clapping me on the shoulder. Wouldn't dream of it. You've got an empire to build. And I've got a feeling this is only the beginning. With a final nod, he turned on his Italian leather heel and strode out, lawyers scurrying in his wake. I watched him go, a strange mix of emotions swirling in my chest. Love, hate, pride, resentment. The push and pull of fathers and sons, of legacies and rebellion. I shook it off, turning back to the reporter with a megawatt grin. Now, where were we? I believe I was just about to give you the scoop of the century. Her answering smile was all teeth, a shark scenting blood. Oh, honey, you have no idea. And as the cameras flashed and the questions flew, I felt a thrill of certainty zip down my spine. Cyrus Holloway may have given me life. But Chase Holloway? He was just getting started. And not even dear old dad could stop him now. After all, he'd built a fucking unicorn out of little more than sweat, spite, and lines of code. He'd looked the naysayers in the eye and dared them to underestimate him. And he'd won. Again and again and again. So let them come, the doubters and the haters. The blue bloods and the old guard. Chase Holloway was ready for them. He was the underdog turned top dog. The black sheep gone golden. And he was just getting warmed up. Watch him fly.